Big leg day going down. Mark and Oscar is in the house. And I've just got a special parcel from America. We've got Raycon headphones. We've got the big ones for me, and we've got the earbuds for Meg as well. So we are going to trial them today and see how we get on with them. Now, I've heard good things, so I am excited to give these a try and put them into a bit of a test on the battlefield. There's no better way to test stuff than actually get it done and put them in use at the gym, right? So, let's get these unpacked. I like it. I like it so far. Right, so you've got spare earbuds, which is amazing, because I always trash mine. We've got the charger. We've got another set of earbuds, which is amazing. This is absolutely class. Top-notch service as well, and they actually came pretty quick, which is epic, so let's get them turned on. Right guys, session breakdown. I do the same session for legs every 5 days, apart from I just use a few different machines. So today, start to see hamstring curl. I actually run that every 5 days because it's amazing. Second in, side leg extension. Third exercise, banded leg press. Fourth, hack squat. Fifth, line hamstring curl. Sixth, RDL or hip thrust. We'll see how I feel. Then 7 to finish off on, leg press. And it will be a calf press for today. So, seated calf press on a leg press. So, sessions are still pretty much flying at 7 weeks out, which is definitely a great sign. So I am pleased so far. I know over the next couple of weeks, this is where we will suffer a little bit more, but the harder it is, the more it hurts, the better I fucking feel. So I'm all here for it. Let's get it. Three sets here, manipulating the resistance across all 3 sets. So instead of actually progressing my load today, my first set, I actually opted to take the same load, but make the resistance a little bit harder basically, and that's the beauty of Prime machines. It allows you to manipulate the resistance profile to however you want it. Now, set 1, so the first set, I still have a lot of oomph in the shortened range, so in fully contractile range. Second set, I won't have as much, so I'm gonna take the same weight on setting 5, which drops off a little bit, basically making the movement a little bit lighter in the shortened range where you are a little bit weaker. I know, sounds a little bit confusing, but trust me guys, it really works well. So I see a lot of people have joint issues in general on leg extension, leg curls. The main reason for that is, majority of the time, they don't actually keep the joints stacked. So what I mean by that is, whenever you're getting a leg extension or a leg curl, you want to create a straight line from your hip down to your knee, down to your foot. This way, you keep the right joint alignment with no pressure additionally on your knees. If you allow your knees to cave out like this, the line of force will do a straight way like this. So over time, you will get joint issues, especially around the knee joint. So jam your abs together, keep your joints stacked, pull yourself down and in to create more stability, and then you want to extend forward and up.
If you have 15 reps, at some point, your grip then gets tired. So you want some sort of economics on how to spread that grip strength. So on the way down, I'd normally just keep my hands on the handle, but keep them loose and only pull as you extend. So the two should happen at the same time. You're pulling the handle, but you're extending your leg at the same time. As your leg comes down, then you loosen your grip against the handle as well. So that way you just don't fatigue the forearms and then not be able to maximize when it counts, like on the latter reps, like when you're on the last 2-3 reps, that's when you'll need that grip strength most. So a bit of economics, as the feet go down, you sort of loosen the grip a bit and only pull when you need to. And that's when your feet are going up, because the essence is to create counterforce, which means you're pulling from the opposite way that you're traveling. And that makes the movement a touch more stable, mostly at the hip musculature, to be able to isolate the quads. So just a little tip there on how to manage that grip strength when it comes to economics.
What you'll notice, I don't throw a single rep. Every rep is controlled for an entire range, and I take a pause in the shortened range. Leg extension is the only exercise that allows you to fully challenge your quad in the fully shortened range, so when your knee is fully extended and your quad is fully contracted. So it's a unique exercise in a way. So in my opinion, whenever you do perform a leg extension, you need to capitalize on actually owning that range at the very top, because no other exercise offers you the same contraction and the same real challenge in the shortened range. So it makes sense that you spend some time there and really own it. So, you want massive quads? Do not neglect leg extensions. Get them added. Right down. Very impressed with these so far. Much better than expected, I'm not gonna lie. Raycon, good job. So the main reason why we have added bands to this leg press, it makes the whole resistance of the leg press a little bit more even. This leg press in particular is extremely heavy in the stretch. So adding the bands creates more of an even tension throughout the movement, meaning we can actually use less load. That's the whole point of it. It's to make the movement harder so we don't have to load as many plates on it. It's nothing magic about it. Doesn't really drastically change the movement, just creates a bit of a different challenge, making the movement a little bit more friendly when it comes to saving joint integrity and safety. So if you're going to ban stuff to make it harder, not to make it easier. Reverse banding basically makes good movements worse, and I'll always stand by that. Write that down.
That's more like it. That's more like it. That's more like it. Yes. Yes. Because beside the execution of the setup, you're responsible for the energy and the effort you bring into the session, mostly as a competitor. And that's very hard to be taught. It's just a case of being responsible for your goals.
Right. Foot positioning on a hack squat or a pendulum. A lot of people have different opinions on this. Now for me, you need to work with a stance that allows you to have the greatest range of motion and allows you to actually stay safe and really, really lets you get into a comfortable position in the hole, in the stretch. So for me, it's a slightly wider stance, just outside of my hip width apart. Now, some people need more of a narrow stance. So it's just a case of trial and error and finding out a foot positioning that suits you the most as an individual, because everyone's built different. So you'll find that different stance will suit you better. So find the stance that allows you to, one, get the greatest range of motion. Secondly, safely load the movement up with some heavy ass fucking load. Right, that down, motherfucker.
So, I don't know if Kuba's gone through that, but you have that piece of wood there, which provides stability between the knee and the hip. When you're training the hamstring in any variation, whether seated, whether lying, whether kneeling, whether standing, what's happening between the knee and the hip is what matters, and it's what will dictate what you take back. So in this instance, you have the distance between the hip and the knee as stable as possible to then allow the hamstring, to allow Kuba to create enough output through his hamstring. So all he's focused on is driving his pelvis down into the plank of wood. And that then keeps everything in his pelvis stable, which then in turn allows him to produce maximal output through the hamstring and also challenge the hamstring across the entire range.
Full review, excellent to be honest, and what I love about these as well is I'll be able to plug them into my iMac as well and use them for my check-ins and for podcasts, which will be amazing. So I'm a big fan. I personally cannot wear the actual earbuds, but Meg actually does. She prefers earbuds, so it's actually worked out pretty perfect. And I've got a little box for these as well, so they don't get damaged, which is ideal. So, guys at Raycon, thank you so much. Appreciate you. And these will definitely put some good use. So, thank you so much, guys. Now, back to the session, let's get it.
Maybe Kuba's gone through this, but he swapped his RDL for a hip thrust. And the point there is that sometimes as bodybuilders, their meathead version of us takes precedence, and we just get attached to certain movements, even though those movements aren't meeting our needs in the best way that maybe direct work can meet our movements, like in this instance. So for Kuba, obviously, he's been using RDL for glutes, but he doesn't get much out of it, as opposed to what he's just done there with a hip thrust machine, which trains the glutes directly. So the point here is, if you had a screw and it was a flat screwdriver, you just go into your toolbox and grab a flat screwdriver to get the flat screw out. If it was a star, you just go in, get a star screwdriver, pull the screw out. You won't think twice. So for me, it's the same thing with bodybuilding. Just use the best tool for the job at hand. Don't get emotionally attached to movements, because sometimes you have movements that just bring fatigue, but no stimulus. So if you look at the fatigue to stimulus ratio and it doesn't match, that's your cue to then swap that movement and get one that better serves you and gives you much more in return. We all invest in effort in our sessions. But the question really is, what are the returns we're getting? So that's how you need to weigh up your plan, your movements, based on the results you're getting. And if you're getting good returns from a movement, then sure enough, in principle, everything is Scott. But if you're questioning yourself, then chances are maybe you just enjoy the movement, which is not wrong, but just don't expect much from it if it's not the best movement for the job. Just something to think about.
Placement. Right. So that was a session wrap up. 7 weeks out for me, 26 weeks out for Oscar. Hungary show, is it?
Hey, London.
London?
Yeah.
September?
October.
October
20th, isn't it?
Europa?
London, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have they got a figure? October? What date in October?
20th.
Is that a week before Olympia? A week after Olympia?
Yeah.
Is that in London then?
London, yeah?
Have they got a figure?
Yeah.
So they're both 26 weeks out basically?
Yeah.
Right. Great session. I've got my retainer from Dr. Joe, which is amazing. Actually very good, it's not going to fuck my teeth up. It actually felt better clenching.
Right, all right, you stick it in.
Yeah. Anyway, great session ticked off. A slight shift for me, I swapped RDL for hip thrust, which is more of a direct movement for the glutes, which is what I need at the moment, and it's a little bit less actual loading. So my recoverability will be better from that anyway. So definitely a win-win. And Oscar, when he trains with us, we'll probably push him a little bit harder than he does training with his own. So his volume is probably a little bit lower as well. So for him to do an RDL today would probably be counterproductive. So great session all. That's it from me. I'm gonna go and sunbed. I'll let Oscar finish off and wrap this up, guys. So please remember, subscribe, like, share, do all the fun stuff, and I'll leave you on a note with my man Oscar. Let's get it.
Yeah, man.
Tell them what you're doing. Tell them your plans for this year.
Yeah.
Fill them in.
Yeah, so 26 weeks out. It's a London show. We're backing and forthing about it really, but we know what needs to happen. I was in between, should I compete or should I take some time off? But realistically, we've made steps forward with the physique, so there's no need to take time off. There is a need to address things that we could be better in. So that is condition. We need to take a step forward in condition, and I need to take a step forward in improving my presentation. So it's okay training and doing all these things, but I think what's most important is never the things that you're doing and the things that you're doing well. What's most important is the things that you're not doing or the things you're not doing well. I call them my blind spots. So the goal is two things. Take a step forward in condition, mostly from my back, my glutes and hamstrings, and then my presentation. For me to achieve both goals, it's just gonna need more time. And that's why we're starting at 26 weeks. Last year we did a 20-week. Still I come in very, very conditioned. I'd made a step forward in condition from the previous season. And the goal is to make another step forward this time, while skipping as much tissue as possible. So once again, these sessions are really, really beneficial for me, because Cuba's obviously 7 weeks out on Sunday. So the mindset is always the same, but it's a touch tighter now. I love the structure that Cuba has, the fact that no phones are allowed in the session, and the fact that I travel here for an hour and a half makes me invest even more in the session. And I'm also responsible, like I said, for the energy that I bring into the session. I don't want to bring no energy or negative energy in the session, because then it takes away from the rest of the guys. So it makes me a touch more aware of myself, and it makes me demand the best of myself, because I'm not only responsible for myself, but responsible for the people that I'm training with. So that's that for us. I am back here on Sunday for a push session. And yeah, hopefully the next time we're here again, I will be a couple of weeks in prep and I'll have a new update for you. But for now, remember what I said in the session. Execution can be taught, technique can be taught, but you're responsible for the energy and the effort you bring into the session. Respect.